are going to get so much shit from me in this opening part of this episode. Guys, it's 10:42 on the bank holiday Monday. Ange and I, with Tricky, agreed we'd record at 10:30. Ange was late, which is fine. We all have things. Ange came on sounding like this.
Hi.
And said, I'm so sorry. I woke up at 10:29.
Don't you just hate that feeling, though?
If that had been me, you'd have been like, well, Pats, I've been up, I've walked the dog, I've had my porridge, I've had a coffee, I've done a poo.
I've done a massive
I've
shit.
been up, showered, pooed. You'd have given me so much shit.
I know. Do you know what? I don't know why. I can't even... Literally, right? I was just, sound asleep in my slumber. And I looked at my watch. I looked at my phone, actually. And I went, shit, it's 10:29. I've got to be on a podcast in 1 minute. And the sheer panic. And then I'm like, right, I need to let them know that I'm going to be like 5 minutes, which actually probably turned into like 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Apologies.
It's fine. You still did well, to be fair.
I literally have shoved on my pyjama bottoms and I've put a bra on just because I thought it'll make me feel more together. I think I probably could have gone without the bra. I was like, if you're not on your best this episode, I'm going to be like, oh, that bra's let you down there, mate.
What would it have been like with no bra? It would have been fucking awful.
Isn't that weird what you do? Because I feel quite easy to just not put my bra on.
Yeah. Even though this isn't being filmed at all and we're just sat, it's like we're on the phone, but it's like, oh, I'll put my bra on. I better put my bra on because I might not be at my best if I don't.
Anyway, I'm in my pyjamas, bottoms, a shitty t-shirt plus bra, and literally just ran downstairs, did a wee, because I was like, I can't do a podcast like that without weeing first. I did my wee. Do I actually sound like really gruff?
Yes. You sound like you've only been up for 15 minutes.
I'll tell you what though, right? I mean, I don't know if we've discussed this on the pod before.
Don't know.
But obviously when we went to LA and I used those earplugs of yours.
Yes.
I still use them, and I think it obviously just blocks out all the noise, doesn't it?
Zones you out, doesn't it? Yeah.
And I think some of it's that, like, and also both of my children were at Reading Fest yesterday.
Yes.
And I mean, Nell's got in about, I don't know, probably midnight-ish, midnight, something like that. And we had a little chat and stuff. Then she went to bed, and then I kind of was up a little bit longer, and then I went to bed because Joel still wasn't in. And there's always a bit of me in the back of my mind that's like, I know he's fine, don't worry about him at all. But you sort of have that little bit in the back of your mind going, oh, I don't know where he is or what he's doing. And so, and I did, I mean, I just went to bed, went to sleep, woke up at 5 because I'm like, is he home? So then I checked my phone to just make sure he was actually back home.
Yeah.
And I think then I must have just got into a really deep sleep at from 5 till 10:29.
And it's right that you would worry about Joel because at one point some stranger knocked on your front door and said, I found this rucksack in a bush.
Yes.
And it was Joel's.
Yes.
So we understand why because some random bloke knocked at your door and said, I found this in a bush. I think it belongs to somebody who lives here.
Yeah.
And his wallet was in it with all his ID.
Yeah.
So, it's
understandable,
right
Pats, isn't it?
Exactly. I found some very funny, very British problems things this week that I thought I'd share with you.
Brilliant. That one last week, Pats, was so funny.
Oh, that teacher one. Isn't that hilarious?
That is so funny.
This one made me laugh. A Brit accepting a compliment. Oh, I like your coat. What? This old rag? Don't be silly. It costs 2p. I've had it 10 years. I found it in a bin. It's a load of tat. Thank you, though. Why do we do that?
We do that, don't we?
Yeah.
You almost feel like you have to explain where you got it from and how cheap it was.
And then at the end, it's like, oh yeah, I just found it in a bin somewhere. It's a load of old shit, really. And then the other one I saw said, it just says at the top, as per my email, and underneath it says, oh, somebody's absolutely livid.
I love an as per my email.
Me too. Especially
I love it.
if somebody says you haven't emailed me about this and you're like, right, I'm going into my sent box, I'm going to forward you, and I'm going to say, as per below, I sent this to you on the 18th of September 2002, and you still haven't replied.
You cheeky shit. It is an as per my email is a great opener.
Great one.
When you just want to be slightly shitty.
Yeah.
You coming at me, Jeff, implying I haven't already sent you some information. Well, I think you'll find.
As per my email.
As per my email.
I saw this other thing as well that was really funny. That was like, I'm going to change my out of office and say, it was something like, hi everyone, thank God I'm not here today. I'm hoping while I'm off, this place burns to the ground and I don't have to come back. But if in fact that doesn't happen, I'll reply once I return. We've had some great emails in this week, haven't we?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And I picked out a couple. We had loads in, but I picked out a couple that I thought were particularly funny. So the first one came from Steph, and she says, afternoon, girls. So unbelievably happy that the podcast is back. It's been shit without it. I had a beagle years ago, and he was a horrible creature. God love him. He always ate other dogs' shit. He'd follow our other beagle around and eat her poo. Fresh. You can imagine what his breath smelled like. Anywho, he threw up a huge dog shit right next to our Christmas tree on Christmas Day while our two toddlers were unwrapping their presents. You're not alone, Ange. Can't wait for the pod next week, Steph.
So we also had an email in from Jackie, and she says, hi ladies, love you both. You make my week so much better after listening to you during my dog walk on a Wednesday morning. Listening to today's episode made me laugh out loud and reminded me of when my golden doodle Snoop disappeared into the bushes on a dog walk one morning and wouldn't come back. When he finally appeared, he stank of shite. The fur around his mouth was covered in it. Believe me, it didn't come out of an animal. The smell resembled that of a human. Obviously, he got caught short on a walk. Upon getting home, I decided to put the hose on Snoop, but he wouldn't keep still and kept his mouth open, hence swallowing all the bloody water. This made him retch. He then threw up all over the patio, and I was left with the job of clearing up his sick and someone else's full-length shit. Now when walking, I make sure the little shit, Snoop, does not disappear into any bushes. Keep up the good work, ladies, and have a fabulous week. Brilliant.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that is...
The fact that she thought it was someone's human poo as well.
No, yeah.
Because it does smell different.
It does. It absolutely does. Yeah. Dog and fox poo is a very different smell to a human poo.
To a human turd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just don't know if I could actually ever shit in bushes. I mean, I suppose if you're like absolutely, like if I don't do it in the bush, I'm going to do it in my pants.
Oh, God.
I don't think I could relax enough. I really don't. Don't you think?
And relax.
I don't
think you could just let yourself go?
No.
You'd not be opening up any chakras.
I would not be opening up any chakras in a bloody bush. In a wood, especially when it's probably a place where there's a lot of dog walkers. I mean, I suppose it might have been a late night urgent poo or something, but
I'm so pleased you put that bra on. Because without it, today's episode would have been terrible. So thank God we've got giggly Ange that can't really speak, but guys, she's in her bra, so we're all right. We're okay. God, imagine what this would have been like without the bra.
Exactly.
I know. It's because you've not had a coffee.
I've not.
Or,
I've not had any liquids. I've not had any solids. I'm dry out here. Dry.
Well, anyway, really great emails. I had quite a few people message me saying Ange isn't alone.
Yes, same.
My dog's
eaten poo and then thrown it up and
pooed out of his mouth.
Yeah, pooed out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, so we also got some messages in, and I got one in from someone who will keep anonymous.
Yes.
Regarding staycations. So she says, "Oh my God, I am absolutely creasing up at the staycation chat. I can't breathe." So our friends, in brackets, married heterosexual couple, have a live-in girlfriend who they both have a relationship with. Neither get jealous of the time spent with her, so they have the best of both worlds. They have the best of all worlds, actually, is what she's put. Threesomes happen, lesbian action happens, and then the guy interacts with his wife and the girl individually. Wild, but as you say, society has forced everyone just to spend time with one person.
That is wild.
That is. So a married heterosexual couple who have a live-in girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't think I could cope with that.
No, I don't think I could. I just don't think I want to live with two others. Living with one person is bad enough.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to live with another person.
No, God no.
You know?
I actually don't want to live with anyone.
Ian, if you're listening, well, this is Ange letting you know she's want to live with anyone.
If you don't mind moving out, take the kids. Oh, actually, talking of Ian.
Yeah.
Ian is just bringing me some liquids.
Ian, you are an absolute bloody diamond.
Ian has just brought me some hot coffee.
Right, say hello to us, Ian. Say good morning.
Ian, just say good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for bringing the coffee.
No problem.
I got a great message in from Charlotte this week about air in the tyres.
Brilliant. Okay. Yeah.
So she put this. She said, "Listening to your shitting tits this week, and I can relate to the pumping tyres. I ended up going to 3 separate garages last week. The first one wasn't working, the second one was out of order, and the third one was so awkward to use. I couldn't see the screen because I'm a shorty, and there was some bloke next to me with god-awful music blaring, so I couldn't even hear the machine beeping when it hit the right pressure. Talk about sweating my tits off. It cost me about £3 because I kept running out of time. I absolutely detest pumping tyres and adding petrol. Glad I'm not the only one." That tyre thing. Yeah, it's fucking annoying, Charlotte. I'm with you.
I might have to try and do my tyres just to get experience.
Yeah, and then report back at how awful it is.
How awful it is, yeah, because I have never experienced it. In fact, I have actually got a warning on my car to do my tyres.
Right, get to the gap. Although some woman did also message me and say, I just take when my warning light comes on, I take my car to a garage place. They check the tyres, they pump them up for me free of charge. So there's a public service announcement for anybody who wants it.
Yeah, but do you want to go and I now am quite intrigued to try and do it myself.
Try and do it yourself and report back.
Okay, that'll be my challenge for this week.
That's your challenge.
Okay,
that's your challenge,
fine,
Angie.
Fine. I shall pump my tyres.
Now, this week, Ange, you are going straight into Dickish Behaviour.
Well, yes, I saw that.
Because Emma on the gram has said people who can't eat chicken off the bone, Dickish. And that is true.
I know.
Ange won't eat a KFC.
No, can't.
That is Dickish.
No.
That is Dickish.
And obviously I could have a KFC that was a breast, couldn't I?
Yes.
So I could go down the KFC route and just not have the chicken, but I just don't.
What is it about chicken on the bone? Because this is Dickish. This is seriously Dickish. It's like, oh no, I don't know. Chicken breasts, yeah, fine, but off that leg, God, no. Who knows what that chicken's done with that leg?
Do you know what? I don't actually know why. I don't know why. I think
it's fake. I think this is fake news.
It's not.
From you.
It's not fake news. I'm not just like being a dick for being a dick's sake.
You are.
I actually think this could go back to Margs.
Oh, because Mum used to just like
she like
gnaw them.
gnaws off the bones.
Well, Mum makes a soup out of a chicken carcass.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, talking about
Oh no. Is this a classic
So on
Margs?
Saturday, we tried to go up to the cricket.
Mm.
We didn't get there in the end because we thought it would be rained off.
Oh,
Unfortunately, the men
no.
did play a really stonking game, but we watched it at home anyway.
Okay.
So it was me, Mum, Dad, Matthew, and Cassie, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we had to drive because of Marty's foot. So in the
Yes.
back, so Mal was put on Cassie's insurance. Thank God for that, because if he'd have had to sit in the back,
Oh my God,
he'd
then
have lost his shit. Anyway,
he'd
he
all been dead.
Yeah, before we
Yeah.
pulled off, he sat in the back.
Right.
And as soon as he got in, he was like,
Oh God. Oh gosh.
And before we pulled off, I said, do we think it's best if Mal just drives? Yep. Didn't even finish that. Yep, I'll drive. Out you get Cassie, I'll drive. So Cassie and Mal swap. And so it's me, Mum, and Cassie in the back, yeah? I don't know how we got onto it, but we started talking about the fact that Mum would like keep anything. Don't throw that cling film away. I'll use that. I'll wrap the ham up in that. Don't throw it away, Mum. It's like been used about 35 million.
Let's
don't
just
throw it away.
chuck it away. Yeah.
No, don't throw that away. So we got onto that somehow, and I said I made a Victoria sponge once, and it all disintegrated as it came out of the pan. I didn't grease the pan enough. And before I could finish, Cassie went, "You didn't throw it in the bin, did you?" And I was like, oh my God, Margs and Cassie are going to be best friends.
Margs. Yeah.
Because Mum's then going, well, yeah, she did, but I thought she could freeze it and use it for a trifle. When have I ever made a fucking trifle in my life? I'm 41, I've never made a trifle. Anyway, I then started saying, oh my God, Margs, don't throw that carcass away, I'll freeze it. No, there's still meat on that bone.
Yeah.
Don't
throw that away.
Don't throw that away. I'll make a soup out of that carcass. Put it in the freezer.
I'll make a broth. I'll make a bone broth.
I'll make a broth. Anyway, the two of them absolutely loving. Oh, don't throw that away. Oh no, I wouldn't throw that away.
No way.
I was like, oh my God, you two.
You
Mum saying don't throw the sponge away. You can make a trifle. Fuck off, Mum. I'm not 85.
You should have just said, right, well, you take it home and freeze it and make your trifle.
Well, she said to me, I'd have had it. If you hadn't thrown it away, I'd have had it.
Oh my gosh.
So I think maybe it does go back to Margs with the gnawing of the bones.
I think it does. You know, she just...
Yeah.
And I think that's what actually puts... I think it's more about other people gnawing bones.
Oh, right.
That makes me go, oh, I can't then gnaw a bone.
But you wouldn't
sounds
have
like a
to gnaw
person,
it.
doesn't it? Nora Bone.
Nora Bone. Nora Bone.
Nora Bone.
You don't have to gnaw it though.
No, I know, but it's just the whole thing of like just getting like all shit on your hands and then shit on in your mouth. And you know, if I cook a whole chicken at home, I don't mind cutting it and I'll cut stuff off.
Right.
But then that's it. I can't then the rest of it, the carcass that Mum would then make into a soup/broth. Yeah. I then literally have to put into the food waste bin and get rid. I can't even like touch it and have
look
it.
Look at it. You can't look at it.
I will accept that it is a very dickish behaviour, and I just have to be part of that crew today.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Sorry, she's not in the Nora Bone crew.
I am not in Nora Bone's crew.
Well, we had a dilemma.
We did. Yes. Very interesting dilemma.
Yeah. I thought this was a really interesting one. These people have said we don't have to keep them anonymous. And it says this. Afternoon, Patty and Angie. Male listener here, along with my better half, my wife, Claire. Anyway, Claire and I have a dilemma for you. I really want to have a third child, but Claire is not sure, mainly due to money and the house we live in. I'm pretty sure we could make it work, but I don't want to pressure her. I have 4 siblings, so I'm one of 5, and always saw myself having more than 2 kids. What's your advice for us to work through this? She listens to the pod and knows I'm messaging. We agreed to bring it to you for your thoughts. Thanks, Phil and Claire. No need to keep us anonymous.
Oh,
what are your thoughts, Angie?
My first thought is that the decision should mainly be with Claire.
Right.
Because
her body, her choice.
Yes, I do feel a bit like, and I'm sure Phil is a very involved father and, does his fair share of, all the jobs and everything that comes with having children. And but ultimately, as a woman, you take the bulk of that responsibility. It's all good for Phil. Wham bam, thank you, man. Off we go. Great, she's up the duff. And then she's got the 9 months of carrying the child, all the stuff that comes with that. You've also got, you're a pregnant woman with 2 other children, the kind of pressure that adds to your life and how you feel physically and then, you kind of then have to go through labour and all of the, and I just feel like if this is something Claire is not keen on doing and isn't really that excited by the thought of having a third, then I think it really should be her decision. That was my first thought was, she should be able to make the final decision as to whether they have a third or not.
What I found interesting was that it says she's not sure, mainly due to money in the house we live in. So she's saying, like, obviously I don't know this couple, but it sounds like Claire is saying we don't have the space and we don't have the money.
Practicalities of having a third.
It sounds like she's saying, look, I don't know, maybe they live in like a 2 up, 2 down or whatever, maybe they're 2 children they've already share, and she's saying
how it's also the accommodate that,
and also the whole thing around money. Look, I think more than ever, who knows what the state of the world might be like in 9 months' time, but right now, I think having 2 young children is a huge pressure.
Oh, yeah.
To, you're at a stage in your life now where your kids are earning money, which still, it doesn't take all the pressure off of you two, but imagine having really little children, new school shoes, new school coat, all uniforms. Of that stuff. All of that stuff that having enough food to make a lunchbox every day, all of that stuff. My question back to Phil and Claire, and I'd love them to come back to us about this, but my question back is, could you wait a few years? Like, obviously we don't know how old they are. They might both be like late 30s, early 40s or whatever. They might have a time limit of how long they wanted to have young children for. But so I had the first thought of, could you make a decision that you're not going to talk about this for 7 full days, and in that time you're going to write your list of pros and cons?
Oh wow, you've really gone deep here, Pat.
Oh, I've thought about this a lot. The first time I read it, I was like, oh, this is a really interesting dilemma, because I think nobody is right or wrong, and I do hear your point that it's Claire's body and it's Claire that is likely to take more of the emotional weight of having a third child.
And the physical. That. I mean, the physical part of that. Yeah.
But I wondered whether there would be a thing of like, because sometimes I think, especially in relationships, if there's something that's in front of you that is like the elephant in the room, you can sort of talk about it too much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And you just, like, anytime you're alone or you're together, you just keep going back over the same thing. It's like, I want another baby. Oh, I'm not sure. And it sort of consumes you. And the only thing that I could liken this to is when Matthew and I couldn't have a baby, it sort of became all-consuming, and the only thing that we could really share or talk about. And that becomes knackering, but it also becomes joy-sapping from your relationship. It's like, that's the only thing that you keep coming back to.
Yeah.
Whereas if you said to each other, right, we're gonna embargo this, we're not going to talk about it for 7 days. That's it. We're going to talk about other things. If either of us start to think about it, we're going to write down what we think, and then we're going to come back together and we're going to sit down and we're going to show each other our list of pros and cons.
Yeah.
And we're then going to have an in-depth decision. And either we say it's not going to happen, or we say it might happen, but it's not now. And
happening now.
Perhaps you wait till your oldest child is a little bit older and a little bit, I mean, we obviously don't know how old their other 2 children are, but Matthew and I have just started going back to couples counselling, and I wasn't necessarily going to talk about that on here, but I do think it's important, because I think when you have big things in your life that happen in your relationships, or something changes, or somebody grows and develops in a different way, or you feel pulled on something, it becomes all consuming.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do need, and I'm not saying Phil and Claire need to go to marriage counselling to talk about this, although maybe they do, I don't know, but I just think it's being mindful that doesn't become the only thing that you guys continue to talk about when your other kids are in bed or you're out for dinner or whatever. My advice would be try not to talk about it for a week or so. Write
Do you
down
think
your
a
pros
week's
and cons.
long enough? Do you think you should say don't talk about it for a month
maybe? Yeah. Because
I think sometimes to have,
but I think that's probably true, Ange. Yeah, maybe a week isn't long enough.
Yeah, because I just think sometimes you, especially with a decision like this that is so big, and there are so many factors involved, and obviously, like you say, for them, there's the kind of the house and the money aspect, which that's such a huge part of that decision that you have to make. I just think sometimes taking a bit of a longer amount of time to really think about it and say, look, we aren't going to talk about it, let's just leave it, we'll do our own thinking in our own time, and then come back and have a look at it. I mean, I suppose, like you say, we don't know the age of the children, but I've got friends who have had got 4 children but had 2 very close together and then had quite a gap and then had another 1-2, and it just almost gives like a little bit of breathing space to kind of get over those first 2 and kind of get a bit more financially stable. Maybe in that time you might be able to afford to move and you just have a little bit of a breather, and then you go and have a third or 2 more. And I know a lot of that is dependent on age, and I mean, for me that was never I was like, well, when I'm done with 2, that's it. I'm not having any more. And the thought of then going back to nappies and sleepless nights was just not a thing I wanted to do. But that might be another way of, of kind of finding a bit of a compromise with it. Is saying, look, yes, I'm, for Claire, yes, I'm not saying this is a definite no. I'm just saying not now. And I need to have a little bit of time, and I think we need to get ourselves into a better place financially and make sure we're in the right house to be able to accommodate that, and then we can maybe look at having a third, and just having a bit of a breather in that time.
I also think as well, Phil has obviously said that he never saw himself having 2 kids. I mean, he's one of 5. And his life has been used to, obviously by the sounds of it, a very busy house, and so that need to
have the same
and I suppose, look, I am so lucky, or I feel so fortunate that we were one of 3. I couldn't imagine now my life with just one sibling. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think there is a mirror, and obviously you never wanted more than 2, and you were 2 and done, and that's what you wanted. But I do think there is, as we grow as adults, when we meet somebody, if children become part of our family, there is that sense of I want to mirror what I had. And for him having 4 siblings, there must be a sense. He from reading this email, he must really love those guys. He must have a really close relationship with them. And perhaps for him, it's like, I couldn't imagine it just being those 2 in the world together. But I would say try not to talk about it week, 2 weeks, month, whatever you think. Come back together, and we would love to hear anybody who sent us a dilemma. We would love to hear the outcome. If you're ever brave enough to message us and tell us the outcome, we'd love to hear it. But
really would.
Anyway, that's another episode in the bag.
Yes. Brilliant.
Great ep.
And actually, the liquids that Ian's brought me, I mean, that sounds a bit weird, that, doesn't it, saying Ian's
but you can tell.
Can you? Yeah, I seem to have woken up, haven't I, a bit now? And I'm not
absolutely perked.
I'm not so gruff sounding.
No.
Well, there we go.
Anyway, listen, guys, remember that we love hearing from you. So there's loads of ways you can get in touch with us. You can find us both on Instagram. I'm at Ruth Corden, Ange is at Ange Corden.
You can find the podcast on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search Finding the Funny Podcast.
Or you can send us an email, findingthefunnypodcast@gmail.com. But Ange and I will be back next week helping you to find more of the funny.